Anything special?
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know. And I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Everybody who watch my videos, like, comment, and subscribe, share. Man, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. We're on the road to 100K. Boom! We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We on the road. Slow motion is still motion, baby. So we still rolling. Today I want to give y'all an enlightening video, man. I want to educate y'all on a few things that goes on in prison that you may not know about, especially if you ain't never been behind that wall. If you ain't never been behind that wall, you know, good on you. Good on you. Keep it that way. And with these videos, you share these videos to somebody who might need to hear them to make sure that they don't end up behind them walls. You know, it might be something that they might hear that might, you know, change their thought process, might change their mind about what they're doing out here right now. And that's what we trying to do, man. We trying to keep as many people from inside there as possible, you know. And everybody who helps me in this fight, join me in this journey, then I appreciate you, man. This movement we got to try to change some lives, man. Elevate and educate. That's what we trying to do, man. Elevate people and educate them to doing better. You know, when you know better, you do better. This is one of the things that goes on in prison, man, which a lot of things that go on in there that a lot of people out here may not understand or may not even acknowledge that happen, man. But one of the things in prison we already know, just like out here on the street, man, is drugs, man. Drugs is a big epidemic. You know, it's big in prison. I told y'all everything in prison is magnified. So, you know, dudes in there, they like to get high. They can't get high unless they get it in. You know, they got to get it in. And one of the main ways that they get it in is through a mule. You know, a mule. You know, they get an officer to bring in the drugs. A lot of the drugs coming there. Most of it is coming by officers. To be honest with you, you know, the high, probably 80-90%. You know, the rest is coming through, you know, the mules that they get, man, or unless they become a mule themselves. Some dudes want the drugs so bad they go over there and they get them themselves. But what you would, for lack of a better word, the ones that you would want to call the smarter ones who don't want to put themselves at risk, because if you get caught with drugs in prison or get caught trying to bring drugs in prison, you know, the chances are you might go to street court and get some more time. So depending on how much time you already have, depends on the risk factor of what you're willing to risk to go get it, you know. But for the most part, what they would call the smarter hustlers in there, they not going to take that risk. They're going to get somebody else to take that risk. Either they have to pay somebody else to do it, or either they have to pay an officer to bring it in, or either they have to pay somebody within the prison to go get it, or they will, you know, take and create a mule. They'll make a mule, you know. They'll get one of them young guys, man, preferably more than likely they'll try to get one of them young, scary white dudes or something like that. And they'll groom them to go over there in the visitor room and to get that sack for them and bring it back, you know. And I know it sounds crazy, but it goes down in the penitentiary, you know. And what I mean by that is they're going to get one of them young dudes in there and they're going to more than likely try to get in the cell with them or whatever because they know they're scared, they're young, they new in the penitentiary, they got some time to do. And, you know, this would be an older dude, a vet or something, you know, OG, and he done been in prison for God knows how long, and he still love to get high. He can't stop getting high, and he got to have it. So what he'll do is, if he didn't have the resources himself to get nobody to send him no drugs in, he'll get with a dude that got the resources to get drugs in, and he will tell him, look, I'll get somebody to go over there and get it for you. You know what I'm saying? You just break me off. That person would be the mule. You know, he going over in the visiting room. Somebody gonna set him up with a visit. He gonna go over there in the visiting room. The person that's coming up there gonna bring them drugs in. He's gonna get the drugs. He's gonna suitcase the drugs, and he gonna bring them back to who it's supposed to go to. Now, you probably want to know what the word suitcase is or what it means in prison. It's not no suitcase like out here in the free world. Suitcasing in prison is when somebody takes something and, you know, put it in their bottom, you know, put it in their rectum, you know, and they do it, you know, in the prison. They do it. They suitcase it and they bring it back. And yeah, most of the drugs that's consumed in prison than literally what you came out of somebody's rectum. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy and I don't mean to laugh, but I'm just saying that's just the reality of the situation. You know, but it don't affect them dudes because they're gonna get high. They're gonna get high either way, no matter it's wrapped up and say, you know, just the mental factor, the way it came from, you know, but yeah, that's how it goes down. Now, these dudes be scared when they go over there to do this. They be scared when they have to do this, but sometimes they got that pressure on them. You know what I'm saying? They got that pressure on them where they ain't got no choice because they got somebody leaning on them, telling them this is what you gonna have to do. You know, and in return, they getting protection. They getting somebody that's gonna make sure nobody do nothing to them because they gonna protect them at all costs because now, you know, they invested in them. This is how they gonna get high. This is how they gonna get their drugs. So if you go fooling with this dude to try to lean on him or try to pressure him or extort him or something, then you're going to have to deal with the other dude that's got protection on him. So that's how that layout go. And I've seen it over the years, man, and I've seen some crazy situations, you know. Now, also, you got the dudes that will automatically seek out, you know, a homosexual, a boy or something because he know the boy is probably... you know, probably already, you know, trained in how to suitcase something, you know. So he would get the boy and he would pay the boy to go over there to these visiting rooms to get the sack for him and bring it back. Now, the problem with that is the administration basically knows that, you know, so whenever they got them, you know, outright homosexuals that goes over there in the visiting room, they already got the hawk eye on them, you know what I'm saying? But in most cases, it don't help anyway because they find a way to get it done. Ask me how, I don't know, but they find a way to get it done. And even right before I left, man, they had changed up the visiting room again where they started giving out, you know, jumpsuits now. They usually had the scrubs where you had the pants and the shirt that you had to put on to go in the visiting room. After years of stopping us from wearing our regular clothes in there, they went to the jumpsuits because of whatever. Dudes was, you know, switching clothes in there or trying to, you know, walk out the visiting room in there or whatever. They switched back to the scrubs. So now, in an effort, they say, to try to keep the drugs from coming in, they switched to a jumpsuit. You had to put a whole jumpsuit on and zipped up in the front. No, zipped up in the back. They put the jumpsuit on you now. Man, it look like a straitjacket, but it's a jumpsuit. They'll put the jumpsuit on you when you going in the visiting room, and they zipping the jumpsuit up in the back. So you have no way of unzipping or getting out of a full jumpsuit while you're in the visiting room. And, you know, for them, they're saying that they're doing this because it's stopping dudes from getting drugs. I guess the dudes, you know, get the drugs, and when the people ain't looking or whatever, somehow slickly they, you know, go in their pants or whatever and suitcase the drugs and, you know, go through the shakedown and come on back. They thinking that by putting the jumpsuit on and zipping it up from the back and you got on a full jumpsuit, it would make it even that much more difficult for someone to try to do that in the visiting room. But trust and believe me, somehow, some way, they get it done. You know what I'm saying? Zipper in the back and all, they get it done, man. And you know, it's just always gonna be a way they gonna figure out to get them drugs in there, man. Because it's like I say, some dudes they live and die off of that. You know, they live and die to get high. And in prison, they got to come up with innovative and creative ways to get it done. And that's what they do. You know, like I say, most dudes will, you got some dudes that don't even fool with the boys or the homosexuals, but they deal with them on the business tip and trying to get some money because they know that these cats can go over there and bring back X amount of drugs. You know what I'm saying? And they will use these dudes on the compound too. If they got a X amount of drugs, to hold the drugs for them and pay them so they won't have to keep it in their cell. They won't ever be at risk of getting caught with it on them. They will pay the homosexuals or the boys to hold the drugs. Because at the drop of a dime, if the police bust up at your cell with a shakedown, the boys, they got the drug suitcase. They can't get it. They can't find it. They looking everywhere else besides it's on them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is a penitentiary muling, man. This is what they doing here to, secure the package. And it's crazy, man, because I can remember a funny story that was wild, man. I got to tell this story. I know Star, I will hope Star see this so he can laugh. But, y'all remember I bought y'all Star. I introduced y'all to Star last year. Star is a dude that did a little time, locked up, did 20-something years, went in as a youngin', and he's out there, he's doing well, working the job, man, every day, living his life, man. He's out here and he's free, and salute to him. But I can remember when Star was on there, and we was on Greensville, and Star was doing his thing, trying to make money. He's always been a dude that's gonna try to get something. But like say he one of the best dudes you gonna meet. Don't even cuss or nothing like that, man. Never heard him say a cuss word since I've been around. And but at this time, Star was telling me about the situation when he used to be trying to get the money. And he had some connects to get some drugs in. So he went, he said he approached, this boy, man, this homosexual, and was talking to him because he heard that the boy would, go over there and get the drugs back if you paid him a certain amount of money. So he said that he pulled up on him and was questioning him about trying to go over there and get some drugs. And, after talking for a minute or whatever and trying to get all the facts straight about, what was going to be paid, what we had to do, da-da-da-da-da. He said, so he asked the boy, well, how much can you move? How much can you bring back? You know what I'm saying? At one time. So he said the boy looked straight at him and told him, let me see your arm. So he said he put his arm out, and the boy did just like this. He said, probably about that much. Man, I know it's not funny, but I can remember at the time that he told me that I just could not stop laughing, man. And he was laughing. I was like, what? What? He said, yeah, man. He said, kind of threw me off. He threw me off because I didn't expect him to say that. I was just asking like, can you bring an ounce back, 2 ounces, whatever. He was like, about. He said, I didn't know what to say, man. He said, he threw me off, man. But that was just crazy to me, man. That just was, a sidebar, something that was funny that happened pertaining to the same situation. But man, it's just crazy in there though, the extent that dudes would go to make sure that they can get these drugs in, man. Because like I say, man, dudes do everything in there for them drugs, man. Larceny, the flammery, the skullduggery, man, the fighting, man, the Bethlehem play. I mean, dudes owe money for the drugs. They will do anything. Dudes that don't got the drugs will go borrow for money that they know will for sure hurt you if you don't pay them, and they know they have no way of getting it, but they want that drug so bad while it's on the compound before it's all bought up and before it's all gone, that they would take them type of risks, to get high, man. It's just amazing. I've seen it all, man. I've seen dudes sell their TVs to get high, sell their self to get high, steal to get high, breaking sales to get high, rob to get high. It's just it's just crazy. It's a crazy situation. But, like I say, I feel like the drugs are stronger than them, you know what I'm saying? Or they feel that the drugs are stronger than them, and they haven't came to the point in their life where they feel like they stronger than the drug, man. So the drug puts them dudes in a lot of crazy situations in prison, man. But these young dudes that's coming to prison now that, have no fight in them, you know, because they out here on the street using guns, or they out here on the street trying to be thugs and thinking that they tough. And when they get in prison, man, they have no fight in them, no athleticism in them, no physical makeup about themselves, because they just been out here and playing video games and, you know, acting like they thugs or whatnot. You get in prison, man, you're going to be faced with so many obstacles, so many physical specimens, so many people that you won't have to be able to defend yourself against, man, that the odds gonna be so great against you that a lot of them succumb to, you know, things that they probably would never do, or things that they never crossed their mind. You know, like going over to the visiting room and bringing back some drugs for somebody, putting yourself at risk to get caught and get more time to even be in this situation even longer. You know, these things are possibilities when you go into prison and you're not physically capable of defending yourself, when you're not mentally capable of hurting somebody if you have to keep them from hurting you. These gonna be situations that you probably gonna be faced with if you end up in prison. Yeah, these are real possibilities, man, because you got predators in there that's looking for any type of thing that they can, or any type of person that they can use to facilitate what they need, whatever that may be, drugs, whatever. You know, you got predators in there like that. They looking to extort somebody to fulfill their needs or their desires or whatever they need to get accomplished by them being behind that wall. And they would do anything, man. And one of the situations that popped in my mind, I can remember this, man, just as clear as day, man. It was like probably one of the first times that I had actually witnessed or seen it, like this situation taking place. And it used to be this dude, older black dude, man. And this time he had been locked up, man, tall too, man. His name was Amin. And people that was on Greensville probably know Amin or remember Amin. But Amin was a tall dude, man, probably about 6'3", 6'4", dark skin. Soft spoken, man, but he was a hustler. He was always a hustler. He always getting money. He always had something going on in the penitentiary, be it a store box, being it's a gambling circuit where he running poker games and dice games. He just was a dude that always had something going on. But I mean, also love to get high, you know, and he gonna get high by any means necessary. Now, normally he had always had the money to pay for it because, like I said, he was a hustler. But I can remember, man, when Amin was in the block with me. He wasn't in the block with me for long, and but I can remember when he was in the block with me, and I can remember Amin had got this little young, scary little white dude in his cell with him. And being that he's an old timer and he's been locked up a long time, you could basically already know, you know, what the play was when he got this little young dude in his cell. Now, everybody knows that, I mean, you know, he gonna get high. That's what he do. So he had the little young dude in the cell with him for a while. Now, I guess the little young dude felt secure because wasn't nobody gonna do nothing to him if he in the cell with Amin, because you gonna have to deal with Amin. And Amin was a serious dude to deal with. So he was friends with a dude that's probably one of the best dudes that I met since I've been locked up. Dude named Van, man. Shout out to Van. Van is probably one of the most humble dudes that I met since I've been locked up. By far, probably the one with the least larceny, flim flam, you know, tomfoolery. He just a straight across the board dude, man. And he ended up doing 33 years, the same amount of time as I did. He's way older than me now. I spoke about Van before. But he ended up doing 33 years for a crime that he actually did not commit. Still out here trying to get compensation for that right now. I think he's been out here now about 12 years. So shout out to him, man. He's well over 70. But at this time, he was good friends with Amin, because at this time, Van was getting high himself. Later on in the years when I had been around him for years, then I ran back into him again after separating away from him for years. He was drug free, wasn't getting high no more, nothing like that, right? But during this time, this was what he did. So him and Amin, you know, they was partners, you know, in crime. So they, you know, they get money and buy drugs together whenever the drugs on the compound. And they had this white dude, man, in the cell with Amin, this little young white dude, man. And I can remember I was cool with Van and Amin, and, spoke to him on a regular basis. They was older than me. They had a lot of penitentiary knowledge. And like I say, Van was super cool. And Amin was cool too for the most part. I can remember seeing them standing there in front of their cell, in front of Amin's cell one day, leaning on the rail and drinking. Van was drinking, or Amin was drinking coffee. Van was talking to him. So this particular day, I go walk down there to talk to him, just to kick it with him, because they leaning on the rail. So when I get down there, they got the sheet in front of the door, hanging in front of Amin's door. Like a dude would put a privacy sheet up there, would make a makeshift curtain line and put your sheet up there, so if your door's open, can't nobody just walk by, look in your cell or whatever the case may be. So when I go down there to holler at him, I just kick it with him, go down there, what's up, man, y'all doing down here, da-da-da-da, woo-woo. And I look back and I noticed that the curtain is on the door and it's open. I said, oh, somebody in there using the bathroom? He was like, yo, no, he in there, he good. So I'm like, okay. So we sitting in there talking for a minute, just casual conversation. And then just like nothing, man, like it was just nothing. He just walked to the door, leaned over, and pulled the curtain to the side and say, you ain't got it out yet? And I could hear the voice saying, no, I can't get it out, it's stuck. He said, well, you better get it out. You better get it out. I'm telling you right now, you better get it out. So he come back out and lean on the rail, and I'm like, boom, I just heard that. So Van was like, what's going on? What's going on? And he was like, oh yeah, he's still telling me it's stuck. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. So I said, man, what y'all got going on, man? So he just as simple as just like if we talking about the weather or sports or something, just simple. He said, oh yeah, I done sent him over there the first time to go over there and get that sack, and he done came back and told me it's stuck up in him. He's sitting in there trying to get it out on the toilet. He better get it out. I told him he better get it out. I'm gonna beat it out of. And I'm like, what in the world y'all got going on down here? He said, oh no, yeah, you good. I said, man, y'all, it's crazy, man. That man gonna get you locked up, man. He gonna get you crazy. He ain't gonna do nothing. He don't do nothing but what I tell him to do. And he reached back over there hollering, you better get it out. You heard what I said. You better make. And the dude said, I'm bleeding. They said, I don't care. You're going to be bleeding some more if you don't get it out. I'm telling you, now you better get it out. And pushed the curtain back closed and came back up there and told me, yeah, well, Vance, man, that first time he probably, he said, I don't care. He better get it up out there. And you better have it up out there for count. Yeah, you better have. And I'm like, man, I done walked up into something. I said, let me get from down here. Pew! I said, all right, man, I holler at y'all though, man. I just came in and kick it with y'all, man. Y'all go ahead and handle y'all business, man. I'm gone. And boom, I leave. You know what I'm saying? I leave, but I say all of that just to paint the picture for y'all that this is reality in there. This is what's going on in there. Now, the young dude in there this is probably the furthest thing from his mind ever in life. Anywhere in life besides in the penitentiary. Now he's in the penitentiary for whatever he did to get locked up in the penitentiary. He had no idea, no clue that this is what was going to be happening to his life while in the penitentiary. I know he had no such inclination that he would be in these type of positions. But this is probably what he got to do to survive in prison. To not be, taken advantage of in other ways, to be molested or to be beat down or to be extorted for money. He came in there and was not able to defend himself, was not man enough to stand up for himself. So someone had to do it for him. And in turn for them doing that for him, this is what he had to do. This is what he had to do. Now, had he stayed on the street or not did whatever he did to get in there, these experiences would never even exist to him. And many others. You see what I'm saying? This is the price of prison. This is some of the things that some people will have to endure. Either that or pick the Bethlehem up and do what you got to do and let the chips fall where they may. But these are choices that you never have to make if you never go to prison. But while you in prison, these choices are definitely a possibility. They're definitely something that you may have to deal with, And I thought back on that when I was thinking about this situation, man, and I just could remember thinking, man, how the dude must feel. What was his mindset? What was he, the situation that he done got himself in is like, he probably just, I don't know. And that's why you have some people in prison, the pressure is so great that they commit suicide, that they hang themselves. You know what I'm saying? And man, just recently, somebody that I know just lost somebody in prison, due to the same situation. They came to the pressure that was on them, man. And it's amazing that anybody, that I say anybody, not just people that did as much time as I did, but anybody who did a significant amount of time can, it's amazing when they come out. It's amazing when they come out and be intact, man. And be intact mentally, physically, spiritually, and be intact. It's amazing. Because the things you will see, the things you will have to endure, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, it's just a lot, man. It's a lot, and it's every day, and it's constant. You know what I'm saying? It don't stop. It don't let up. You know what I'm saying? Some days it's on your doorstep. Other days it's in your yard, but it's always there. You know what I'm saying? It's always there. The craziness and the insanity, man. And yeah, I can remember that, man. But definitely they use what they call prison mules, man. The homosexuals, and you got some that volunteer to do it because that's their hustle. That's how they make money. They go over there and bring the sack back. They walk around and hold the sack for somebody. And in turn, some of them, they get high. So they take their pay and getting high. But if they mess that sack up that they holding for the dude, or they mess that sack up that they go over there and get for the dude, they got to pay for that. And they're going to pay it back ×2, or they're going to pay in blood. And they know these things when they get involved. You know what I'm saying? The willing ones know these things when they get involved. The unwilling, they don't even have a choice because they being forced to do it. They have no other option. You understand? They have no other option. The little white dude had no other option besides to be savage and taken advantage of. But to him, I guess he done rationalized in his mind that that's worth it opposed to what else was out there waiting for him. And I guess he trying to get through this bit or whatever, how much time he had and get out, and he's trying to do it in the safest way that he know how. And he knew there wasn't nobody gonna mess with him when he dealing with Amin, but this is what you gonna have to do to be dealing with Amin and to have Amin's protection. That's just how it is in prison, man. It's a dog eat dog world. Don't nobody care about nobody. Everybody care about themselves. Everybody's focused on themselves. What they need, how they can get it, how they gonna survive, and how they gonna eat, and that's it. That is it. So yeah, man, but that's what goes on in prison. Some of the things that goes on in prison pertaining to the drugs and how they get it in and who holds it and who gonna be responsible for it. And also as well with that, if the police do come run down on you and they find the drugs, you also have to claim the drugs. You also have to take the charge. You also have to say it's yours and this person ain't got nothing to do with it. That's how the game goes. Anything outside of that, then, you done violated, and then if the dude can't get to you, then his word gonna go out on you, and wherever you go, somebody gonna try to touch you. Somebody gonna try to get at you. So it's a dirty game, man. It's a dirty game, but it's prison. And prison is definitely dirty, filthy, nasty, savage, violent. That's what it is. That's the nature of the environment, So young fellas, please take note to these things. And I know some of you young fellas out there who may look at this or may hear this, may say, well, I ain't doing that. They ain't gonna do it to me. Well, okay, what you willing to do to stop them from doing it to you? What you willing to do? You willing to kill? You willing to be killed? You willing to plunge that Bethlehem into somebody's chest and stop their heartbeat? Are you willing to let somebody plunge it into your chest and stop your heartbeat? Because these is the things that you will be faced with while you behind them walls. Yeah, these are the things that you be. Ain't no guns. It ain't no I'm going to shoot them from over here. It ain't none of that. It's man to man, mano with mano. And even if you think you got some dudes behind you that from your neighborhood or they like, man, they ain't going to get in front of that Bethlehem. I'm trying to tell you that right now. I'm trying to tell you that, but I ain't seen it. I ain't seen it with these eyes. I ain't seen it. I seen dudes help dudes when somebody coming at them, but to get in front of the stuff, they not gonna do that. They not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And these are situations that you may be faced with, even if you got some friends, but they may not be right then and there when it's time for go time. So these are situations that you will have to handle yourself physically. No one is going to be in the cell with you at night when you in the cell with your cell partner and he want to try to do something to you. He want to try to take your life. No one's going to be right there. It's going to be times in prison, even if you got what you consider homeboys, friends, or whatever. It's going to be times right there in prison where you're going to have to defend yourself. Are you willing to do that? You know, that's what you got to ask yourself. So, don't say what you ain't gonna do, because you have to know what you will do to be able to say what you ain't gonna do. In prison, man, all of those questions are gonna be asked of you, man. So it's a vicious cycle, man. And I'm preaching this stuff because I don't want to see nobody caught up in this cycle. I don't want to see nobody go through the things that they will have to go through when they're in prison. That's why I preach prevention, man. Stop right now. If you're out here on the street and you're doing something that may even get you locked up, that even has the slight remote possibility of you getting locked up, you need to cease and desist right now. Trust me. Yeah, you need to cut all that out, because it ain't worth it. By no means, it's not worth it. Yeah, I don't care how much money you making. I don't care nothing. It ain't worth it. Period. You know, not your freedom, bro. Not your liberty. Nah, you gonna live a far greater worse life in there than you will out here. That is a guarantee. So, you know, whew. Anyway, man, I just was thinking about that, and I don't want to get off into preaching, but I just want y'all young fellas, y'all kings and queens, man, to live your best life, man, and don't throw it away, man. Don't throw it away. Time is precious, and every moment you throw away living in savagery is just, man, it's just absurd. It's absurd, you know, and trust me, I know better than anybody. I gave them 33 years, 12,345 plus days, and I can't get none of them back. None of them, you know, not 1 second of it. So, you know, that's why I preach what I preach, man, and I hope it reaches somebody, even if it's one person, 100 person, 1,000, the more the better, but as long as it reaches somebody and change their mindset about putting themselves in these type of situations, man. So I just wanted to speak on that today, man. I hope it was educational. I hope it was informative. I hope someone sees it, hears it, and, you know, have a shift of thought. And that's the whole point, man. So y'all share this video. Y'all like, comment, you know, talk to me. I talk back. You know, let me know how y'all feel about it. Let me know if y'all want to know more about these type of situations. Just put it in the comments and get at me, man. And in the meantime, y'all be safe, be smart, make good decisions, man. And please stay out here on these streets. And like I told you, man, it's a blessing in every lesson, man. The blessing is you can hear about this, man. You can hear about it, you can read about it, you can watch it on a movie or TV or something, but you never, ever have to live it. Never have to live it, man, if you just be safe, be smart, and make good decisions, man. Y'all be safe out there, man, and duck them hooks. They out there, man. They out there. Peace.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's a name that I got from my grandmother when I was young.
I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm going to have something because I'm rich in personality, you know. And I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.